Hi and welcome to In Her Shoes. I'm Suzi Dafnis. My guest today is Michelle Gamble, founder and chief angel at Marketing Angels, a marketing agency that provides outsource marketing and direction for small to medium-sized businesses. Michelle, welcome.
Thanks, Suzi.
Tell us a little bit about Marketing Angels.
So Marketing Angels, at Marketing Angels we provide advice, education and outsource marketing management and direction for small to medium-sized businesses. So depending on what size you are, you might just be looking for guidance to do the marketing yourself and want to work with an expert, or a growth business, a larger business might be looking to just outsource that to someone who's really experienced versus having to manage someone in-house.
So in taking on a project, one of the things that I want to talk about today is how we measure how effective our marketing is. Because it can be expensive in time and money, and especially if you're a small business.
Yep.
What do you look for to know that you're getting a good return on your investment?
Well, the first thing is to basically know that you're making more than you're spending. So I know that sounds really simple, but often people don't necessarily do the maths. So looking at making sure that any tactic that you invest in, that you are getting sales out or value of sales that are more than you've actually spent on the marketing, and that you're going to be able to make a profit on those sales. So it will depend on things like the value of sale as well, necessarily. So that's basically in a nutshell how you make sure that you're getting a decent return on investment. But you've also got to take into account things like the actual lifetime value of a customer. So you may spend a certain amount acquiring a customer, but then depending on what you do ongoingly, you can extract more value out of that customer over a period of time. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can do to make sure that you're getting a good return on investment. And one of the big things is actually making sure that every customer you get in the door, you've got a system set up to make sure that you're getting repeat purchase, getting referrals, cross-selling and upselling them different services.
Marketing is quite a science, and obviously that's where you come in. What sort of issues do businesses typically have when they come to you?
I would say the main thing is a lack of focus, and I think that's the main thing with small to medium-sized businesses. They tend to learn as they go, so they'll try and test a lot of different tactics and also different messages to the market. And what that means is that they dilute their opportunity to really create frequency, which is very important in marketing, frequency of message and frequency in being in the right place. So they don't tend to plan, they don't develop focused marketing plans, they don't sort of developed consistent messages, and that lack of focus often shows up in pretty poor results when it comes to marketing, and also throwing your money sometimes at the wrong thing because you haven't had a clear plan to start with.
One of the things that I want to look at is, just say I've made a decision, I've thought it through, I've decided I'm going to do X, Y and Z in my marketing. How do I track that it's working?
Yep. Okay, well I think the main thing is just to set up a system that you realistically know you can use. So even if it's as simple as a basic spreadsheet, and you might even have staff who are on the phones tick boxes and things like that, but as long as you collate them at the end of the month and it works, that's the main thing.
Give me an example.
So you might have a spreadsheet that tracks all of the leads that come into the business and then sales, and then you want to have cross sections that track things like the source of leads and sales, so whether they come in via responding to some advertising, what sort of advertising it was, whether it's a referral, those sorts of things. And then also looking at things like leads and sales by location. So what we often find in Marketing Angels, for instance, is that depending on what's happening in different states, we will have more activity in those states. So things like the bushfires in Victoria impacted our business. Things like the coming federal election in Canberra impacts our business. So understanding that, so then you can do things in various locations. Also looking at leads and sales by salesperson, and we track that quite closely, not necessarily to sort of go and beat people over the head if they're not performing, but more so that we can learn when people are doing really well, what they're doing that we can then extract from them and implement that as a system across the whole business or training. So that can be really insightful if you've got really high performing salespeople, understanding what they're doing differently or what they're selling that might make a difference. Also leads and sales by inquiry. So we often find, depending on whether someone fills out a form or whether they pick up the phone, we'll dictate the quality of the lead. Okay. If someone fills out a contact us email form versus filling out a really detailed form on our website, often you'll find the more detailed, the better quality of inquiry they are. If someone rings, we know that the quicker we get to them, they're looking for instant gratification, then the more successful we're going to be. So those sorts of things are really important. And also looking at the type of inquiry and tracking it through to conversion. So whether, say, it's a small business, a small business lead, how that converts, whether it's a corporate type of inquiry, how that converts. So understanding too the different types of leads that are coming in from the different activity that you're doing. Because if you're getting better quality inquiries from, something that you're doing versus others, then you want to optimise that. Yeah.
I'm surprised how often businesses don't know where their sales or their leads come from. What do you think causes that? Like not even asking?
I think it's just a bit of myopia, so just being so, they say it's hard to see the label when you're always inside the bottle, and I think that's a really good term for small business land, that people are just constantly focused on the doing and on, getting that sale, that they forget to sort of ask the obvious, but also I think not having systems. So, not having a proper sales script, not having some sort of customer relationship management system where all the details get entered into, and that, not having a simple sheet that people read off that asks a number of questions. Yeah.
And so there's some of the systems you've already talked about that can help with tracking. Is there anything else that you suggest for small business?
Well, there are more and more, a lot of now software as a service-based customer relationship management systems that are very inexpensive, and a lot of them are free. There are trial versions you can download on the internet, and your customer details are actually stored on the internet, but you can easily set up a customer relationship management system and customise that for your business. So there's ones out there like Zoho that people might have heard of, zoho.com. And there's also other ones like Work, etc., and Sugar. And then if you want to spend some money on things like Salesforce, you can do that as well. But all of these systems are designed to integrate with things like your pay-per-click advertising that might be happening online. And also, increasingly they're integrating with systems like Xero, which is an accounting software, so that you can actually, track your leads right through to sales value and things like that.
At the most basic, I guess, it's asking the question, how did you hear about us?
Exactly.
Whether it's on a website or an email or on the
Exactly.
phone or wherever
Exactly.
that is.
But some of these systems then allow you to do things like automated, lead nurturing, where you can market to people ongoingly and things like that. Yeah.
Other than, well, I paid this much for my campaign and I made this much, what else would constitute a successful marketing campaign in your eyes?
Well, I think, again, looking at the quality of the lead that's coming through and the opportunity, as I said, to market to these people ongoingly. So not just looking at, that transaction on that day, but if, it's the telecommunications companies do it beautifully. So they get somebody, into the system, and they know that the lifetime value of that customer can be quite long if they stay with them for 10 or 12 years. So it's important to look at your return on investment in terms of the actual sale, but then also what's that customer going to be worth to you over a period of time. The other thing is also, looking at how many times you can get them to buy from you again, but also using people to then generate referrals for your business. So they're valuable in terms of the actual transaction that they were to your business, but then how can you generate referral from them and have them being fans of your brand and advocates. So, the success of marketing, can also be judged by the amount of, referrals you get from current customers and things like that.
Just to finish off with, you've been in business for a while, you've
have.
seen what works and what doesn't work.
Yes.
What advice would you leave us with?
Well, I think that the key thing would be focus. I think that's the really important thing for businesses and in small business, because you're wearing so many hats and you're juggling so many different things. Often you can be a bit like an excited puppy, kind of, running around doing bits and pieces, but not necessarily doing anything in a focused way. So, what I find from a marketing point of view is just, focusing is really important, getting some focus around your marketing. Even if you put down a basic 2-page marketing plan, but you do it at the beginning of the year, you get some realistic idea of what budget you've got to have, and you focus on a few tactics and focus on the right message. I think, that pays off in spades. Marketing is just really about being relentless and consistent.
Right. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Suzi.
Thank you.